So, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to another session. Right. So, we have been started off in the previous session with regards to mutation. So, we saw a few things with regards to mutation, right? Some introduction and some basic terms with regards to mutation, right? So, if you could recollect what we have seen in the previous session, we said what exactly mutation is all about, and we said that mutation is nothing but any sudden change that occurs in the genetic material. We start calling it as mutation, right? And we also said that the agents which bring about this mutation, we started calling it as mutagens, right? So any agent which leads to this sort of change in the genetic material, we started calling it as mutagens. And we started classifying the mutagens under three different categories. Number one was the chemical mutagens, number two the physical mutagens, and three was biological mutagens. Under chemical mutagens, again we saw a couple of things here. With regards to base analogs was one category of chemical mutagens. Then we came up with something called as the alkylating agents. Then we came up with something called as the equivalent. So all these together constitute the chemical mutagens. Talking about physical mutagens, we saw about two different types of physical mutagens. One is ionizing radiations and the other one is the non-ionizing radiations. And with regards to biological mutagens, we saw about certain bacteria as well as viruses, which bring about this sort of changes or mutations, right? Then we started classifying mutation on the basis of their origin, right? How exactly is mutation caused? So we classified mutations into two categories. One is called spontaneous mutation and the other one is called induced mutation. Spontaneous mutation, they occur all of a sudden by chance in nature, whereas induced mutation, they are actually said to be induced. They are actually caused by the intervention of humans, whereby we start using certain mutagens, either the chemical or physical or biological mutagens, and we would start inducing mutations in that particular organism. So those are the two types of mutations what we saw. So in this session, let's get into some more details with regards to mutations, right? So let us take up with another classification, which we actually call it as the major classification with regards to mutation. So in this particular classification, what we'll be talking about is where exactly the mutations are actually caused, right? Where exactly there is change in the genetic makeup happening, whether it is taking place in the chromosome or whether it is taking place in the gene. So let's start off with this particular topic called as classification of mutation. So under classification, we said that mutations could be broadly classified under two major categories. So this would be the major classification what we have. So let's first take up with the classification. Then we'll get into each one in detail. So mutations can be broadly classified into two major categories. One is called as chromosomal mutation. One is called as chromosomal mutation. And the second one is called as gene mutation, right? The second one will be termed as gene mutation. So there are two types of mutations happening. One is called chromosomal mutation and the second one is called as gene mutation. So what is this chromosomal mutation? If there is some sort of changes happening in the chromosome itself, right? If there are certain changes happening in the chromosome itself, such sort of mutation or such types of mutations, we start calling it as chromosomal mutation. If there is changes happening in the genes, right? If there are changes happening in genes, such type of mutations, we start calling it as gene mutation. So all mutations could be broadly classified into two major categories. One is called the chromosomal mutation and the other one is called as the gene mutation. So let us get into the internal classification of chromosomal mutation. Now, this chromosomal mutation can lead to two different things, right? Chromosomal mutations can lead to two different things. One is it can lead to change in the chromosome structure, right? It would lead to change in the chromosome structure. So if there is change in the chromosome structure, we start calling it as structural mutation. So we call it as structural mutation. So this is what exactly is happening here with the structural mutations. From the name itself, we can make out there is changes happening in the structure of chromosome. Right. So if there is changes happening in the structure of chromosome, such sort of mutations we start calling it as structural mutation. The second type of mutation under chromosomal mutation is either there could be change in the structure or there could be some sort of increase or decrease in the chromosome number. Right? There could be either change in the structure of the chromosome or there could be some sort of increase or decrease in the chromosome number. So that sort of mutation we start calling it as numeric mutation or genomic mutation. We call it as genomic mutation or we also call it as numeric mutation. Right? So what are we actually talking about now? We are talking about the classification of mutation. So based on where mutations are seen, we would classify mutations into two major categories. One is either chromosomal mutation or the second one would be the gene mutation. In chromosomal mutation, there is some sort of changes or mutations happening in the chromosome. Whereas in gene mutation, there is some sort of changes happening in the gene. Right? So that we start calling it as chromosomal mutation as well as the gene mutation. Now, this chromosomal mutation could be in turn classified into two major categories, where they could, because of this mutation, they could either be change in the structure of chromosome, or we also call it as structural mutation, or we also start calling it as morphological mutation. Morphological mutation, either structural mutation or morphological mutation, anything we can take up. Right. So if there is any changes happening in the structure of chromosome because of some sort of mutation, such sort of mutation we start calling as structural mutation or morphological mutation. The second category would be genomic mutation or numeric mutation, where the chromosome number would be either increased or it would be decreased. That sort of mutation we start calling as genomic mutation. Right. Next, under structural mutation again, we have different types of structural mutation, of which the first one would be termed as deletion. Deletion. Second one is called as duplication. Deletion, duplication. Third one would be termed as inversion. Third one is inversion. And the fourth one is called as translocation. Translocation. So these are the four types of structural mutations which are actually seen. One is called deletion, duplication, inversion, as well as translocation. So all these four together, we put it under something called as structural mutations or morphological mutations. There is actually one more name also given for it. We also call it as chromosomal aberrations. Aberrations are nothing but some sort of changes. Right? So we also call it as chromosomal aberrations. Right. So under structural mutations or chromosomal aberration or morphological mutation, we would have four different types. One is called deletion, second one is called duplication, third one is called inversion, and fourth one is translocation. So we'll be taking up each one in little detail also. First, we'll just finish off with the classification, then we'll come back to this. Next, under genomic or numeric mutations, right? Under genomic mutations or numeric mutation, we have again different types under this. One type we call it as euploidy. The first type is called as euploidy. The second type is called as aneuploidy. Right? So we have two types of genomic mutations or numeric mutations, of which the first one is called as euploidy, the second one is called as aneuploidy. So we'll see what exactly these are in a while from now. Right? So this is the entire classification of this chromosomal mutation. Right? So chromosomal mutation would be classified into two major categories based on what exactly is happening to the chromosome. If there is some sort of changes happening to the structure of chromosome, we start calling it as structural mutation or morphological mutation, or we also call it as chromosomal aberrations. Second category is if there is either increase or decrease in the number of chromosomes, we start calling it as genomic mutation or numeric mutation. Right. Next, under structural mutation, we have different categories, of which the first one is called deletion, second one is called duplication, third one is inversion, and fourth one will be translocation. Whereas under genomic or numeric mutation, we again have two different types. One is called euploidy and the other one is called aneuploidy. So all this together we start calling as chromosomal mutation. Next, talking about gene mutation, right? As we have already said, what exactly is gene mutation all about? If there is some sort of changes happening in the gene and not in the chromosome, such sort of mutation we start calling it as gene mutation. So under gene mutation, again, we have different categories under gene mutation. Right? So we have three different categories under gene mutation, of which the first one we start calling as inversion type of gene mutation. So this is the first one, inversion type of gene mutation. The second one is called as substitution mutation. Substitution mutation, or we also call it as replacement mutation. Either substitution mutation or a replacement mutation, right? And this, there is one more name also given to it. We also call it as point mutation. Point mutation. And the third category, right? Third category is called as frame shift mutation. Third one is called frame shift mutation, right? So three different categories we have under gene mutation. First one is called as inversion type of gene mutation. Second one is called substitution type of gene mutation, or we also call it as a replacement type of gene mutation, or in simple, we also call it as point mutation. And the third category what we have is called frame shift mutation. So all of these would fall under the category called as gene mutation. So this is the basic classification of mutations what we have based on where exactly mutation is happening. So we would start classifying mutations into these different categories, right? So we have the chromosomal mutation, gene mutation. Under chromosomal mutation, structural mutation, genomic mutation. Under the structural mutation, deletion, duplication, inversion, translocation. Under genomic mutation, we have euploidy and aneuploidy. Next, under gene mutation, we have inversion, substitution, or replacement, or point mutation, and then we have the frame shift type of mutation, right? So this is the overall classification what we have with regards to the gene or with regards to the mutation. So let us take up each one in little detail. Let us first begin with chromosomal mutation. Right? So let's start off with the chromosomal mutation. And under chromosomal mutation, let's first begin with the structural mutation. Now, as we have already said, what exactly is this chromosomal mutation? If there is some sort of changes happening in the structure of chromosome, then we started calling it as structural mutation. Right? So there is some sort of alteration happening to the structure. There is some sort of changes happening in the structure of chromosome. That was we also call it as chromosomal mutation or chromosomal aberration or the structural mutation. So under this, let us first take up with deletion. So what exactly is happening in deletion? In deletion, right? So let us take up that this is a chromosome here. So this would be one chromosome here, right? So this is a chromosome. And in that chromosome, say there are a few genes that are being present. Let us consider it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So these are the 8 genes present in this particular chromosome. Now, due to mutation, right? So due to mutation, a part of the gene is cut. So from the name itself, we can make out deletion. What do you mean by deletion? Deletion is nothing but removing or getting cut or getting deleted. So a part of the chromosome is getting deleted. Say this part of the chromosome is getting deleted. Now, if this part of the chromosome is getting deleted, what would happen? How would this chromosome look like? So it would look somewhat like this, right? So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7 genes are cut. So therefore, there will be only 5 and 8. Gene number 5 and 8. So what exactly is happening to the structure of the chromosome now? It is becoming shorter. Why it is becoming shorter? Again, because there is some sort of deletion happening in the chromosome. As a result of this deletion, the structure of chromosome, which was initially like this, has been changed to this. So this sort of mutation we would start calling it as deletion type of chromosomal aberration or deletion type of structural mutation, which falls under chromosomal mutation. So this is the first one. Talking about the second one. Second one is called duplication. So what do you mean by duplication? So I hope all are familiar with the term called duplication. Duplicate, replicate, making it double. That is what we call it as duplication, right? Making another copy of it, we call it as duplication. Okay, let us take up on the same example here. So this is one chromosome here, right? Having the same genes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now again, this part of the chromosome is getting duplicated. Now, since this part of the chromosome is getting duplicated, what would happen now? How would this chromosome look now? Right? So this would be normal here, but this side would become big. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one would be 5, 6, 7. Since it is duplicated again, it would be again 6, 7, and 8. Right? So this is again the changes that are happening here. So this part of the chromosome is being duplicated. As a result of it, the structure of the chromosome is being changed. Initially, the structure was like this, but after the process of duplication, it has changed to this. So this sort of a mutation, we start calling it as duplication type of structural mutation, right? So duplication type of structural mutation. So this is what we have with deletion as well as duplication. So in deletion, what is happening? A part of the chromosome is getting cut. As a result of it, the structure of chromosomes being altered. In duplication, what exactly is happening again? A part of the chromosome is getting duplicated, right? It is becoming double or it is getting replicated. As a result of it, again, the size or the shape of the chromosome is being altered. Such type of mutation, we start calling it as duplication type of mutation, right? So we have deletion as well as duplication. Right. Next, talking about the topic called as inversion. Right. Talking about inversion. Right. So the next topic what we'll be taking up is inversion. So what happens in inversion? So let us see what exactly is happening in inversion. Inversion is nothing but getting inverted. So let us see what exactly is happening. So we have inversion here. So let's see what exactly is happening in case of inversion. So this is again the same chromosome, what we've been talking about, right? Genes 1, 2, 3, 4. Here the genes would be 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So let us add one more gene. So here there are 9 genes located on this chromosome. So what exactly is happening is there is some sort of inversion happening, right? So inversion in the sense, say there is inversion happening in this particular part of the chromosome, right? In the gene number 6, 7, and 8, there is inversion happening. So what does that mean? The gene which is present here would be flipped to this side. Similarly, the gene that is present here would be flipped to this particular side. So what exactly is happening? There is 180 degrees flipping of the gene. So gene number 8 will come to the position where gene number 6 is present. Similarly, gene number 6 will go to the position where gene number 8 is present. So they are getting inverted. So the positions are getting inverted. Such type of mutation we would start calling as inversion. Now, as a result of inversion, what would be the condition of this particular chromosome now here? So here again same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. But here 5 will be here. 8 is coming to the position of 6, so it would be 8 here. Then it would be 7. Then it would be 6, and then it would be 9. So this type of mutation, where there is flipping of the genes to over 180 degrees, such type of mutation we would start calling it as inversion type of structural mutation. Right? So in deletion, what exactly is happening? A part of the chromosome is getting deleted. In duplication, what is happening? A part of the chromosome is getting doubled, it is getting duplicated. And in inversion, what exactly is happening? The genes are getting inverted. That is, they are shifting their places by 180 degrees. 180 degrees. That type of mutation we start calling as inversion type of structural mutation. Right. Next, moving on to the last one, which is called as translocation. So let us see what's happening in case of translocation. In translocation, the process is slightly different. What you need to remember here is all of these three mutations, what we have seen, deletion, duplication, as well as inversion, they are seen happening within the same chromosome. But in case of translocation, translocation always involves a pair of chromosomes. That is nothing but homologous pair of chromosomes. Right. So here there is one chromosome happening. Here there is one chromosome present. Right. Say the genes present on this chromosome is said to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here there is one more chromosome, and this is the homolog of this particular chromosome. Right. So there is a pair of homologous chromosomes present. And here the genes are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Right. So these are the genes that are actually present in the homologous pair of chromosomes. Now, what exactly is happening in translocation is a part of this chromosome, say this part of, let us consider this to be chromosome number 1 and chromosome number 2. And remember, both are homologous pair. Right. So this particular part of the chromosome number 1 would be deleted and it would be joined to this particular chromosome. Right. So this part of the chromosome in chromosome number 1 would be deleted. Right. And the deleted part would come and join in chromosome number 2. So this type of mutation we would start calling as translocation type of mutation. So what would be the condition here now because of this translocation? So this would be as usual 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas this side, the size would change, it would become 5 and 8. Whereas in the homologous pair, what would be the condition now? So this would be A, B, C, and D. Then it would be E, F, 6, 7, then G and H. So this part has come to chromosome number 2. Right. So whichever was present in chromosome number 1, the part of a chromosome from the chromosome number 1 has been shifted to chromosome number 2. So this type of mutation, where there is one short chromosome and one long chromosome, this type of mutation we would start calling it as translocation type of mutation. Right. This we call it as translocation mutation. So under translocation, we have actually two different types. This side, the first one, what we saw, we start calling it as interstitial. We call it as interstitial translocation, right? Where a part of the chromosome is cut, and that chromosome which is being cut or deleted would join or affix in the homolog pair, the other chromosome, right? So this change is actually happening between non-sister chromatids of homologous pair of chromosomes. So this you need to remember, right? It always occurs between non-sister chromatids of a homologous pair of chromosomes, right? So if this is the condition where one short chromosome and one long chromosome is obtained, such type of translocation we call it as interstitial translocation. This is the first type under translocation. The second type under translocation is, the second type would be, what happens here again? The same thing, there is homologous chromosome here. Right, there is this homologous chromosome again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right? Then there is another chromosome here, a homologous pair. So this would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. So this is the homologous pair. Now what exactly is happening in the second condition is, let us take the same PC, chromosome number 6 and 7. In the first homolog, chromosome, part of chromosome, that is where there is 6 and 7 genes are cut. And here also, this particular gene is being cut. Now this deleted genes will start shifting their position. So what exactly is happening now? F and G of chromosome number 2 will be cut and it joins with the chromosome number 1. Similarly, genes 6 and 7 of chromosome number be the genes here or what would be the chromosome appearing to be here like this now? So here it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it would be 5. Here it would be F, G, and A. On the homolog pair again, so what would be the condition here again? So this would be A, B, C, and D. This would be E. Then it would be 6, 7, and H. Right? So this sort of mutation where there is a replacement happening. Right? So the genes are getting replaced. Right? So there is some sort of replacement happening. Whichever part is being cut from chromosome number 1 has been attached to chromosome number 2. Whichever part has been cut from chromosome number 2 has been attached to chromosome number 1. So this is the second type of translocation, what we call it as the reciprocal translocation. It is called as the reciprocal translocation. So what are the types of translocations? One is called interstitial translocation. Second one is called as the reciprocal translocation. So both of these falls under the category called as chromosomal mutation, structural chromosomal mutation. Right? So this is what we have as 4 different types of chromosomal mutations: deletion, duplication, inversion, translocation. So what is happening in deletion? A part of the chromosome is cut. It is being deleted. As a result of which, a short chromosome is being formed. Duplication, a part of the chromosome will get duplicated, because of which the size of the chromosome will start changing. Third one, inversion. What's happening in inversion? The genes, they get inverted. They get flipped by over 180 degrees. As a result of which, again, the structure of chromosome changes. And the last one, which is translocation, where there is translocation happening between the 2 homologous chromosomes, a pair of chromosomes. This is very important, what we need to remember. In all these 3 types of mutation, there is only one chromosome involved, that is in deletion, duplication, and inversion. Whereas in translocation, there is always a homologous pair of chromosomes involved. And that exchange of genetic material or part of the chromosome actually occurs between non-cystochromatids of the homologous pair of chromosomes. Right? So this is what we have the translocation, and under translocation, interstitial translocation, reciprocal translocation. Interstitial translocation, a part of the chromosome is cut, and that goes and affixes with the second chromosome of the homologous pair. That we call it as interstitial translocation. Reciprocal translocation, there is deletion happening in both the homologous pairs of chromosomes, and there is exchange of this particular deleted part of the chromosome happening. As a result of this, again, the structure of the chromosome would be changed. This type of translocation we start calling as reciprocal translocation. So under translocation, interstitial translocation as well as reciprocal translocation. Right? So this is what we have as the first type of chromosomal mutation, which we call it as structural mutation or morphological mutation, or we also call it as chromosomal aberration. Right? Now let's take up with the second, numeric mutation. So what happens in this numeric mutations, or in, we call it as genomic mutation. So let us see what exactly is happening in the genomic mutation. As I've already said, in case of genomic mutation or numeric mutation, there is no change in the chromosome structure happening, but there is increase or decrease in the number of chromosomes because of mutation. Right? So because of mutations, there is either increase in the number of chromosomes or there is decrease in the number of chromosomes. Right? So let us take up the first one. That's the reason why we actually call it as numeric mutation, something to do with numbers. Right? Now, under numeric mutations, I said there are 2 different categories. One is called euploidy and the other one is called aneuploidy. So let us begin with euploidy first. What happens in this? So in euploidy, there is change in the chromosome number by 1 complete set. Right? So there is change in chromosome number by 1
this is what we have. Okay, so this is what we call it as euploidy. So what happens in euploidy is there is either increase or decrease in one complete set of chromosomes. Right. So when we say one complete set, what does that mean? If you remember, we have different sets of chromosomes. N we usually call it as haploid. So this is one complete set of chromosomes. Right. Then 2N we call it as diploid. Right. So this is two sets of chromosomes, diploid condition. Then like this, if there is increase in one complete set, like we have a diploid organism, to this, if there is one more set added to it, this would become 3N, and that condition we start calling it as triploid. We call it as triploid condition. Again, if there is 3N, that is triploid, to that, if there is one more complete set of chromosomes being added, then this we start calling it as tetraploid. So if it goes on like that, everywhere there is one complete set being added to that particular gene. So if that is the condition, we start calling it as euploidy. Right? If it goes on like this, we start calling it as polyploidy or polyploid condition. This is the type of mutation, genomic mutation, where there is increase in the complete set of chromosomes. Right? So there is one set being added because of this mutation. Initially, we know it is if there is only one set, it is haploid. To the haploid, if one more set is added, it would become diploid. To the diploid, if one more set is added, triploid. Triploid, again, one more set added, tetraploid. Then it goes on like that. We simply use the term called as polyploid or polyploidy. Right. So this is the first type of genomic mutation or numeric mutation what we have, which is called as euploidy. Right. So what exactly is happening in euploidy? There is change in the chromosome number by one complete set. So if there is change in chromosome number by one complete set, then we start calling it as euploidy. You know this, right? Next, let us take up with the next one, which is called as aneuploidy. So let us see what's happening in aneuploidy here. In euploidy, there is increase in one complete set, whereas in aneuploidy, what exactly is happening here? So in aneuploidy, what exactly is happening in aneuploidy? Either there is increase or decrease in either one or two chromosomes. So there is either increase or decrease. There is either increase or decrease in one or two chromosomes. So there is either here in the first case in euploid, we said that there is increase in a complete set of chromosomes. Whereas in case of aneuploidy, what exactly is happening is there is either increase or decrease in only one or two chromosomes. So this increase or decrease only in one or two chromosomes, we start referring to it as aneuploidy. Right? So euploidy, there is increase in one complete set, right? Whereas, in euploidy, there is increase in one complete set. In aneuploidy, there is either increase or decrease in either one or two chromosomes. Right. Now, based on whether one chromosome or two chromosomes is increasing or decreasing, we would again classify them into two categories. So let us take up these two categories. So we said that there is either plus or minus one, right? So there is either plus or minus one, or there is either plus or minus two chromosomes happening. So let us first begin with plus here. Let us first begin with plus, or let us take minus first, then this side will take a plus. So if there is plus one chromosome increased, right? If there is plus one chromosome, we are talking about minus, right? So if there is minus one chromosome increase, we actually start calling that condition as monosomal. right? So we start calling that condition as monosome. Let me tell you how exactly we arrive to that particular name. So I'm just erasing this here. Right, so let's see how exactly we are calling those names here. Initially, we know that each individual has a diploid number of chromosomes. And when we say diploid number of chromosome, this is how we usually represent the chromosome. Right? So there are 2 chromosomes that are being present. This is the diploid number of chromosomes. Now, if there is 1 chromosome less, -1, so we are actually removing 1 chromosome. So if 1 chromosome is removed, only 1 chromosome would be left over, right? Since only 1 chromosome is left over, we start calling it as monosome. Right. Now, if there is 2 chromosomes removed, -2. So 2 chromosomes here already which are being present, right? We all know that how exactly 2 chromosomes are being formed. One comes from the paternal side, one comes from the maternal side. Right? During the formation of zygote, half of the chromosomes comes from the paternal side, half of the chromosomes comes from the maternal side. And all of the chromosomes are actually present in pairs. Right? Now, if 1 chromosome is removed from the pair, we call it as monosome. If both are removed, there are no chromosomes at all. So we start calling that condition as nullisomy. So we have monosomy where there is -1 or 1 chromosome is being removed. Second one, we have nullisomy where both the chromosomes are being removed. So if there is either decrease in 1 chromosome or 2 chromosomes, it would lead to mutations. And that sort of mutation we start calling it as aneuploidy type of genomic mutation. On the other side, when there is plus chromosomes added, so we have done with decrease in the chromosome number. Now let's take up with increase in chromosome number. So if there is +1 added, all right, again let us take up with the same conditions. So we have a diploid chromosome here. Now this is the normal condition. If to this 1 more chromosome is added, if there is 1 more chromosome added, right? So what would happen here? So there are 3 chromosomes present for that particular pair. There are 3 chromosomes present. If there are 3 chromosomes present, we would start calling that condition as trisomy. Right? Important terms here. We would start calling it as trisomy. So in the later sessions, we'll take up certain disorders where we'll be talking about this trisomy. So we have certain autosomal disorder, which is called as Down syndrome, where there is trisomy. Then we have allosomal disorder, which is called as Klinefelter syndrome, again, which is said to be trisomy. So there we'll take up in detail and we'll see what are those chromosome complement of. So this is +1. If there is +2 added, so to this, if there is 1 more chromosome added, then that condition we would start calling it as tetrasomy. So there is this trisomy and tetrasomy. So if there is 1 chromosome less, we call it as monosomy. If there is 2 chromosomes less, we call it as nullisomy. If there is 1 chromosome extra, we call it as trisomy. If there are 2 extra chromosomes, we started calling it as tetrasomy. Right? So all this together, we start calling it as aneuploidy, where there is either increase or decrease in 1 or 2 chromosomes. Right? Either increase this side or there is decrease in 1 or 2 chromosomes would lead to a condition called as aneuploidy type of mutation, aneuploidy type of genomic mutation. Now, what could be the reason for this increase or decrease in the chromosome number? What could be the reason for this? During the process of cell division, right? So during the process of cell division, you would have come across a term called as disjunction of chromosomes, right? You would have come across a term called as disjunction of chromosomes. So what exactly is this disjunction of chromosomes? We know that in a pair of chromosomes, let us take up with the cell division part, right? We have prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, right? So during metaphase, what exactly is happening? All the chromosomes will start arranging themselves on the equatorial plate, where there is formation of metaphase plate or the equatorial plate, all that we have seen. Right. So once the chromosomes arrange themselves on the equatorial plate, what would happen next? There is formation of spindle fibers, And once the spindle fibers are formed, the spindle fibers will start pulling the chromosome towards the opposite poles. Right. So this movement of chromosomes towards the opposite poles, we actually call it as disjunction. Right. As a result of which, after the process of cell division, what will happen now? Two cells have been formed, right, where there is division of cytokinesis also happening. Two cells form, and one cell will have each chromosome. This is what is happening during the process of disjunction. This reason for aneuploidy is we have a term which is called as non-disjunction. Non-disjunction. So what does this non-disjunction mean? Disjunction, we said separation of chromosomes. What does non-disjunction means? There is failure of separation of chromosomes happening during anaphase, right? So there is failure of separation of chromosomes happening during anaphase. So that failure of separation of chromosome, we start calling it as non-disjunction, right? Again, let us take up this. So this is the pair which has actually arranged it themselves on the equatorial plate or the metaphase plate, right? But due to some reason, there both the chromosomes have been pulled together towards one end of the pole, right? So actually, what should happen? Two chromosomes, they have to be pulled towards the opposite poles during anaphase. But here, what is happening? Due to some problem while in anaphase, or rather the spindle fibers, these two chromosomes are pulled only towards one side. Once they are pulled towards one side, what would be the condition now here? After the process of cytokinesis, what would be the condition here? Two cells will be seen. So there is cytokinesis happening. Two cells will be formed. One cell will have both the chromosomes and one cell will not have any chromosome. So the cell which has an extra chromosome falls under this category, where we call it as either trisomy or tetrasomy. The cell which do not have any chromosome will fall under this category, either monosomy or nullisomy. So the reason for aneuploidy is this process called as non-disjunction of chromosomes, right? So non-disjunction of chromosomes would lead to these conditions such as aneuploidy. Either it would lead to decrease in the number of chromosomes, leading to monosomy or nullisomy, or it would lead to this condition where there is increase in the chromosome number, where it would lead to either trisomy or tetrasomy, right? So things what you need to remember here is the reason for aneuploidy is majorly the process called as non-disjunction of chromosomes, right? So this is what we have with euploidy and aneuploidy, which is called as numeric or genomic type of chromosomal mutation, right? So we've started off with chromosomal mutation in this particular session. Under chromosomal mutation, we said that based on what exactly is happening to the chromosomes, we start classifying mutations into two different categories. One is either structural mutation, or we call it as genomic mutation. So what is happening in structural mutation? There is increase in the there is change in the shape of the chromosome happening, leading to some sort of morphological changes. We also call it as chromosomal aberrations. So under chromosomal aberrations, we saw about 4 different types of chromosomal aberrations. One was called deletion, duplication, inversion, translocation. Under translocation, again, 2 different categories we saw. One was interstitial translocation and the other one was reciprocal translocation. Then we moved on into this particular numeric or genomic mutation, where there is increase in the chromosome number happening. In case of euploidy, there is increase in one complete set of chromosomes, right? So if we have a haploid, to that one complete set is added. Diploid, to the diploid, another complete set is added. Triploid, to the triploid, another complete set is added. Tetraploid, and it goes on like that. We call it as polyploid. So there is one complete set of chromosome added every time. So such type of mutation, we start calling it as euploidy. Aneuploidy, talking about aneuploidy, there is either increase or decrease in 1 or 2 chromosomes. If there is decrease in number of chromosomes, 1 chromosome less, monosomy, 2 chromosomes less, nullisomy, 1 chromosome extra, trisomy, 2 chromosomes extra, tetrasomy. This is what we have. And the reason for aneuploidy is this particular thing which is called as non-disjunction of chromosomes happening. This is very important here. The reason for aneuploidy either increase or decrease in the chromosome number is majorly because of non-disjunction of chromosomes during the process of cell division, right? So this is what we have as structural mutation. Sorry, structural as well as genomic mutation. So with this, we'll be done with something called as the chromosomal mutation, right? So in the next session, let us take up with another type of mutation, which is called as gene mutation, right? Thank you.